Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Living Room Community Art Studio live stream artist chat. Now, if you are joining us today, this Tuesday, we're trying something new for the next couple of weeks. Hey, everyone, welcome. We're going to be interviewing we're going to be shining a light on other art hives like us. In case you didn't know, the living room is an art hive. And art hives are these beautiful places and spaces that create opportunities for people to connect and create with one another in service of community development and individual well-being. And there are plenty of them around. And as difficult as things have been in these last 6 months, one of the things that has emerged out of them is that many of these art hives, like the living room, oh, excellent, so lovely. Many of these wonderful people have moved their physical spaces and points of connection online. So they have created or expanded to make space for virtual art hives. And I'd like to shine a light on what some of these people, what some of these spaces are doing for their communities, and provide opportunities for you to perhaps get involved with their community as well. Because now, since things are online, we don't necessarily have to be in the same city or town to join in and create and connect with others. So today we are going to be working, let's see if I could get this. I'm not sure if I can say it properly. Oh my goodness, I do not speak any other languages other than English, so please forgive me. La Colmena de Arte, maybe that's how you say it. We're going to find out soon. We will be talking with 2 people today, so we'll be taking turns. We'll be connecting first with Ana Garcia and then Momo, partway through that conversation, taking turns so that we can learn about their Spanish-speaking art hive, what it's doing in the world, who it's for, how they're changing their communities and their world through creating these safe spaces for connection. So let's begin. Let's invite Ana on. Now let's see, here we go. I did see, there we go. I'm going to go on with Ana. Let's see. Waiting. This is so exciting, folks. Ana!
Hi, Mary, how are you?
Hello. Oh, I'm doing okay. How are you? Because you're joining us from, is it Houston?
Austin.
Oh,
Yes.
On my list of places to go one day.
It's beautiful.
Thank you so much for taking time to join us.
Thank you for inviting us. It's so exciting. It's my first Instagram interview.
Woo! First, but maybe not last. And who knows, you might be interviewing folks too in the weeks to come.
Yeah, we tried yesterday, like how to make a live and everything. So yeah, maybe we can do that.
More art.
Yeah.
So, for those folks out there who might not know you or what you do or what your hive is about, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Ana. I am excited about wellness and art. I'm a psychologist in Colombia, registered in Colombia, not in any other country yet, but I'm also a master's in art therapy from Concordia University. And we started this online art hive project in May with Momo, and it's been 4 months since we started. It's a virtual community art studio like the Art Hives, but just online. And yeah.
That's lovely. And can you pronounce the name of your art hive? Because I think I might have butchered it when I first.
La Colmena de Arte.
There we go.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything accidentally rude in Spanish. Anyway.
No, you said it. Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't have a whole lot of time because we're chatting with both you and Momo today, but
Yes.
I'm excited to learn how and why this art hive came about and why it's so special for you.
Okay, so I started thinking about an art hive in Spanish when I was in Canada. I was living there as a student, and I felt that I needed spaces to be with Latin American people and to speak my own language, because you miss a lot from your culture when you are outside of your country. And then, well, I had an internship award for developing that project in Montreal. but it was physical, right? In that time, we were not that interested in online things. And I think that we won't be necessarily interested in this when the pandemic ends. But because of the pandemic, we started an online project with Momo that was doing a lot of online other projects and helping a lot of people to develop their online art hives. So she said, like, why don't you try, like, why don't we start this project in Spanish for Latin American population? Because also the art hives are nowhere in Latin America. So I was super thrilled to put the first little dot in Colombia. Like we are like, there's one art hive in South America. And yeah, and now we have this running, and it's been great, especially for people that live outside from their home countries, that they can have this online space to talk Spanish, to meet with people that's like similar to similar to us. You know, it's not easy to always be under the eye of other person that believes you're like an outsider or an immigrant, or just because you don't have a perfect English, people can think many things of you, like prejudices and stuff. So this is a safe space to just be yourself and speak in your mother tongue and be with people that won't judge you at all, just be creating art with you. And that's what's special about it for me.
Wonderful. And what has been, are you able to share some of the feedback you have from the folks you've been connecting with and working with in the online hive?
Yes, I'm not sure if I have the whole information, but like there's people like that have said that this space is starting to become as their family. They some of them didn't create before, so they're starting to create, and this is a great space for doing it. For example, there's a musician that had never created art, like visual arts, and he's been developing a lot of the visual part of himself, and he's super excited. This is a space where people, I actually have a bit of what they said here.
Oh,
okay.
So
it's a space to experiment and have fun, but it's also an informative space, a space to learn about art and practice your Spanish. It's a space to be in harmony with other participants and friends, a space where we love to share time together, where we love to share smiles and art, and it's something very important to us, like things like that they have said. So yeah.
This is lovely. And we're having a comment here from Love is Love too. Such a great initiative. What a fantastic way to create a sense of home and belonging. And like, it's a beautiful thing we've seen pop up with all the virtual hives, but I think it is something special for people who aren't necessarily in their home places right now, or are disconnected from family or friends. Can you speak a little bit more to language and culture and the importance of making space in your life to connect or reconnect with that?
Yeah, the first time I went to a physical art hive in my life, I read about the art hives, and I thought it was gonna be a really welcoming space, but it is actually, the art hives are a really welcoming space, but sometimes the welcoming level of Latin American people is not the same. So for me, it was a shock. I'm like, oh my God, this is a cold space for me. Sorry to say it, but it was really like, there was no the warmth that you feel in a Latin American space. So that's when I started to think about how to create this environment, because I needed it, right? So I needed a space to feel like home, and that I didn't have to, you know, worry about saying the right words or saying it in the right way, or that somebody would misunderstand me because I didn't pronounce correctly something, or they will make a joke about me. Because that's another layer that you always have to think about when you are not in your own language. It's something that's a bit stressful all the time. So and also for the people that's in their home country and that they're connecting, just having this experience of meeting people that are in other countries and speak about, we have that theme a lot, like people speaking about, where are you, how is it there, how is the COVID right there? And also being together during the pandemic, it's been like, wow, like amazing. um, yeah, and yeah, that interchange of people in different countries, and but in like that they are talking in Spanish and just speaking about your emotions freely, because like the emotional language it's your mother tongue. You sometimes it's not easy to speak about things freely in a second language. So
Yeah.
that's been really important. And just also for people that it's like, for example, in Colombia, and they are from Colombia and they are talking to people from Colombia but that live in another country, they can have other like things to talk about. It's like a window to other countries, and just learning about a lot of cultures. It's yeah, it's a great space. Sorry, I'm so proud.
I can see that, and it makes me so happy and curious to learn more as well, because I think, well, speaking for myself, again, I'm like this white settler kind of, living in Canada. I take a lot of things for granted. I make a lot of assumptions um, about what's going on in the world. And like when I'm hearing you speak, I'm hearing about love of language, love of culture. I'm hearing about a sense of solidarity that's being created, and perhaps raising awareness about different things that are happening all over the world for
Yes.
Latinx people. Do you feel like the roots of something are bubbling up with regards to social justice and providing these new platforms?
Yes. So there have been rough times in Colombia these days, and I always felt like disconnected from my reality when I was living in Canada, and things were happening in Colombia, and I wanted to be there. I really wanted to, I don't know, protest and say, raise my voice or talk to people that was there, like not just my family but others, just to hear what they were thinking. And these days, I'm still not in Colombia, I'm in Texas, but with the Art Hive and having people that was there, and I didn't plan that, but there was people that were leaving a hard situation while they were at the Art Hive. They were just trying to paint, but outside of their windows there was like a protest or something. So just being able to offer a space, like a safe space for them to express, to talk about what they were feeling, to just be there and be there with them in the same pain, because it's hard, and just being able to talk about that, to create that day we created instruments, like musical instruments. We were planning on talking about celebration, but we also could change it to like make the protest thing with, like or something. Yeah, so we talk about how art can help you in those moments to express yourself and be together and discuss about what's happening, and lose that sense of it's fatalism, like that you can't do anything about it, but maybe even little things you can do something about it. Just talk about it, just connect with others, and I don't know, just make noise, create art. It helps a little bit, so yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. I feel like there's something about the transformational power of art making, whether you consider yourself a professional artist or an amateur artist or just someone who makes stuff when they feel like it, whatever you might think of yourselves in that creative process.
Yeah.
I really truly believe that once you can transform one thing into something else, whether that like an idea into an art or a thought into a song, or like there's so many different ways you can create, and all of it creates change in the world. So I feel like having a focus point where you can connect with others and build your strength together can be so empowering.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
also, oh,
no, it's like that. Yeah, and just being able to put your inside world on the outside, just to have a little bit of control over what you're feeling. That's also really important.
so that, can I ask you a little bit, and you can speak to this from your own perspective, or if you have any feedback from the community members that you've been working with. During this time, how important has art been in taking care of ourselves or yourselves, and like sort of art as an act of wellness keeping?
Yeah, many of our participants have talked about that. They say that it's important to, some of them need some silence in their heads, and just being together and creating makes them to have that, that silence, that moment for themselves, to be like children, they say, just like to be able to experiment each time and not care about the product, just about exploring with the colors or with drawings. And I think a plus of the space is that the art is there, but there are others there, so you feel connected, and you feel like you are supported in that act of creating. That sometimes I guess in many cultures, but in our, like, in our normal life, like, I think adults are not very supported to make art. They think it's something for children, and so just seeing other people creating helps them to create and to use that for their self-care, even if it's just coloring, the very basic aspect of it. But also, there's people with more skills that teach others, and, like, for example, we have had skill shares of scent angles, and like, that's the power of the Art Hives. Both things come together. The scent angle, like, as something that you do and helps you to meditate, but also that somebody's teaching it to you and that you're making a connection there, and that's really, really special. Like, and in the pandemic, that's like a space that have been very important to all of our members. Yeah, definitely.
And hives like yours are definitely inspiring us at the Living Room. We're hoping in the future to build more Skillshare opportunities and maybe even collaborate with art hives like yours to, well, like, share these skills from abroad and wherever we might be in the world. It's such a beautiful thing. Now I'm looking. I'm trying to be very good with time, but I think we still have some more time.
Okay.
I was curious as well about. I know there's such a, we can use the term like Latinx culture, but that's such a broad ranging area, obviously. You were talking a bit before about just the different ways of communicating and connecting that you don't necessarily see within sort of Eurocentric culture in North America. What's the one area if you had a magic wand, what would you share with other people? What would you give to others?
Pride. We're very proud of our culture. We're always like, we're Latinos here. Celebration too. We're very like, well, that's I'm pretty sure there are more Latinos that would say something different, Latinx people, but I think that those two are very important for me. Just how proud I am from where I'm from, and how excited I'm about celebrating stuff and being together. Union, we're very like strong, and yeah, together, like, we like to be connected. I think those things are things that I would share with everyone, because yeah, that's that warmth, or that sense of like, I think, yeah, I'm not sure about, right, because you're also proud about you, but it's more like you, yeah, I don't know how to say that, but yeah.
Pride is a really interesting area, but what I'm hearing when partnered with that sense of celebration that you're mentioning, like, that speaks to something else, I think. And there's something really interesting and important about celebrating, honoring things, and finding that room before, as you were mentioning, for like play and creative play, that reconnection with just joyful purpose of making noise, bringing voice to something that you didn't think you could make noise about. How important is celebration in creativity for you?
Ooh, super important. I think, yeah, uh, I go back to like December time in my country, and how that sparked our creativity, because it's, Colombia is very Catholic, so we would do these little towns on December with Virgin Mary and San Joseph, but we will create the whole, like, that's a space where children and adults would create together and would celebrate. So it's not about the religious thing that much. It's about creating a full city out of little things that you would find everywhere, and you would go and buy little characters, little houses, little animals, and create a river out of foil paper. And that time of the year, it's full of also for instruments, because there are 9 nights where you do community gatherings with food and music. So I think that's one of the celebrations that we enjoy the most, and it makes art and celebration. So I think that was very important when I grew up, and I kept applying it in my life. Just big events like my graduation, I would do, like, I didn't have the chance to go out and buy flowers because it was a pandemic. So I started to create origami flowers just to make my bouquet and that kind of stuff. And I try to also communicate that to others, bring that from childhood to your adulthood. You can keep creating and celebrating and making a big thing from your special moments, because you deserve it, right? Because you worked so hard. I worked so hard for my master's degree, so I needed to put both art and celebration together that day. So
And what would you say, especially during these times? I think if there are folks out there who are wondering, well, like looking around them and feeling the darkness, feeling the struggle, feeling the sense of, the difficult and strange times that all of us are in, to different extents, depending on your privilege and where you're located, also many things. There might be people feeling guilty about finding those moments of celebration. There might be people feeling like, how can I possibly celebrate? What would you say to celebrating in times of great difficulty? How important is it to find that in your life?
I think that without celebration, you cannot sometimes recover your wellness, and if you don't have wellness, you cannot even help others or anything. So that sense of guilt, I think, sometimes needs to go to bed or something. Just go to a corner, and you have to learn to, people need to learn to feel more comfortable with what they're already doing. And if they're doing nothing, okay, take that guilt, try to do something for small, even if it's something small, and but feel that that's enough, and then just go and celebrate how great are you doing things for the world, for others. And that's why I also think that it's really important to be in community, just to gather with others. In the Art Hives, there are many opportunities, or maybe with your family, maybe with your neighbor, but being together, listen to others, try to help as much as you can, and then celebrate what you're doing. Because without that part of checking the thick books, I did this, check that, how would you regain your energies if it's not with the the mark, the yay, the I did it? You will think just I have a lot on my head. No, there's no way. You need to.
So finding those moments to make meaning, find that joy, even if it's just a tiny, tiny bit.
Yes.
So important. Maybe especially during dark or strange in certain times.
Yeah, it's hard to find the time, but I think that with others, it's a really good way to do it.
And
gathering.
Yeah, and gathering online. So when we can't gather and connect in person.
Exactly, yeah.
I love that you're creating this space with Momo online for people within the Spanish-speaking communities to gather and connect. Oh, yeah. Amazing. Okay, now on that note, why don't I switch over now, and I'll introduce Momo to everyone. Anna, thank you so much for
joining. Thanks to you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, hopefully I'll see you soon and be able to create something with you folks soon online. Okay?
Yay! Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, and now we're going to look for Momo and we're going to try. Oh, there we go. I think I'm going to invite Momo on now. Let's see. And we'll just seamlessly switch over and chat with another fabulous creator from the Art Hive. Oh!
Hello.
How are you?
I think my setup with my phone is a bit high. How are you, Mary? So nice to see you.
So good to see you too, and here. If you need to adjust things during, it's all good.
Let me let me bring. I have a very funny setup. I put my laptop and then have a little tiny easel that my phone is standing on. And
You're getting an insight into the creative setup here.
yeah, oh my God, this setup, and then my phone is holding to the easel with one of these twisty things.
I love it. See, getting whatever we might have at hand, that's all of it, isn't it? You may not have a lot, but you might have a pipe cleaner lying around and you can use it.
That said, these things are so useful. I also use them to tie my headphones that always get tangled. So I will use this. Like, oh my God, they're so useful. So yeah, and I never knew that before the archives. So
there you go. So before we get caught up in conversation, I know it's going to be really easy. Can you share a little bit about yourself with folks who might be watching and listening?
yes, of course. Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity. I was watching with Anna, and when you said like, okay, and now we're gonna switch to Momo, like,
oh, sorry.
Oh my God. No, that's okay. That's okay. No, thank you so much for this opportunity, Mary. So my name is Mónica Elizabeth Escobedo Ramos, and my artist name is Momo.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's a name that I chose a few years ago. I started painting ceramic. I started going to Café Ceramic while I was still living my other life, previous life to artist. And I started painting ceramics, and it was feeling funny to sign like Monica or Liz or Elizabeth. It was too long to, I don't know, I didn't have so I decided to go with Momo in honor of my grandmother, whose nickname was Coco, so like 2 syllables, repetition, and I think her images and a lot of the themes that we talked together, they were coming into the plates that I was drawing, and I was always she has been always so inspiring for me. So I think when I was going to sign, actually I signed one plate with her name because I made it in her honor. Um, and then I'm like, the next time I went, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna reinvent myself. I'm gonna sign Momo. And since then, it's just stuck. So I'm Momo. I was not an artist. I by profession, I'm a software engineer. I studied in Mexico. I'm originally from Mexico. I came to Canada in '98 for work, and I loved it so much. I live in Montreal. I loved it so much that I decided to stay. I still have all my family, my brother and my sister in Mexico. I go visit them as often as possible. But of course, because of the pandemic, I haven't been since last August.
Wow.
So it's gonna be almost a year. And then I found the Art Hives. I found art while I was taking a sick leave for work, and I just loved it, the power of art and how I saw the transformation in me and also in the other people that were around me, the women. So I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2016. All is well now. I had amazing treatment at the MUHC, and they offer an art therapy program, music therapy, everything. So I signed up for everything. And art, I think, was one of the realizations of how much it helped me, and as it said, how much it helped others around me. I just saw how we were connecting, yes, because of our diagnosis, but also because of art. And at some point, the conversations started with not, of course, how you're feeling today, how are the symptoms, but sometimes it's like, oh, what materials are you going to use today? And, have you tried printing? And I don't know. So the conversations little by little started to switch towards art, and a little bit less. Of course, we were always talking about the symptoms, or, you know, some tricks and tips, but it was very much around art. So that's how I felt really the power of art, and that's why I'm a big promoter and believer of art as a wellness tool.
So, software engineer, didn't necessarily consider yourself an artist, although I don't know, I might challenge that. Well, but we can come to that. But you were also one of the founders of this Art Hive with Ana, yes?
Yes.
So, for what was, and we'll come back to your personal journey with art and Art Hives in a bit, I think. But with regards to this beautiful space online that you've created, what kind of inspired that for you?
I would say I when I got to know this concept of art hives, and I took the class for community practice with Professor Janice Timbotos, and I was like so lucky, so lucky to be able to take that course, and so grateful as well. I always dream about the art hives as something beautiful, but at the same time as unattainable, because although we get like support and we get coaching and training through Rachel, and also the community is very supportive, it was very difficult for me to think about, oh, I'm gonna rent a place, and then how am I gonna get the money to buy all the art materials? And I have seen like how fast in the art house we run out of paint, and we run, and although like we always have lots of donations, the communities are so generous, and the archives are always, and Rachel and everybody in the archive is right, we always have an overabundance, like we have an abundance of materials. But still, when I thought about myself opening an archive, a physical archive, it was like almost like impossible. Almost like one of those things that you say, if I win the lotto, I'm gonna do that, So then the pandemic happened. I started as a participant at the first virtual archive with Heidi, and very soon I became a co-facilitator, and being online, just working with what we have at home. Yes, the technology poses other challenges, but it was, for me at least, it was more doable. I had my computer, I had time, I had, recycled materials. I had many, many projects that I had started at an archive, and I never had time to finish. So, and then when that project came to an end, then I was still thirsty for more, for offering this. So then talking to Ana and to other friends, I was like thinking, yeah, maybe, we can do this. It's something is possible. It's not as unattainable as renting a space and doing all that. So that's how it became something. And I was very lucky that Ana got in with the project, because I think an archive, it's a lot of work, and it's very difficult to do it on your own. Like, as any enterprise, we have challenges, and we have high moments and low moments. And I think having somebody, especially as Ana, that she has worked in the archives, she has the experience, she's an art therapist, plus we're offering something in Spanish. I will never dare to offer something in Spanish with a co-facilitator that was not like Hispanic, not only Spanish speaking, but from Latin America, because as you said before, it's not only about the language, is also a cultural thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's amazing. And I think, and you're getting lots of love here too, I'm seeing in the comments. Uh, there's definitely, I think there's an opportunity here that we perhaps wouldn't have stumbled, we wouldn't have moved forward on if we were only relying on physical. And it sounds like you've been receiving feedback as well as we have from community members that this was something that was really needed. But there are a lot of people who couldn't make it out to our physical space, for example.
Yeah.
There are people who perhaps due to illness or like different things going on in their lives, distance, that it wasn't something that was realistic for them to do. And moving some things online has provided all these new opportunities to connect and create with one another. Is there one
Yeah.
Is there one thing in particular that has surprised you about the community's response to what you and Anna have been doing?
Yeah, the response surprised me. So when we started advertising or announcing that we were going to open, the first week, even Anna and I were just going to meet to talk and maybe to create while we talk, because I think it's very important if we are offering an art hive that we ourselves create. So Anna and I were just going to meet on a Friday night just to create among ourselves. And somebody joined, somebody from the community. And that was so special because it was supposed to be the weekend after. But we admitted them and we called that our pilot project. and then the next time it was like 17 people showed up. I'm like, what? And even, oh, sorry. I knew that was going to happen. I knew somebody was going to call me. Sorry. And I think, even if people come to the archive once, or, if they come and they stay only 10 minutes and they have to leave, I hope that they get curious enough so they come back at some point in their lives. Yeah. I'm not saying to mine, like to ours, because Art Hives is an open concept. So if they came to ours, thank you. Thank you for the curiosity. Thank you for your encouragement. And if you didn't come back, well, know that we miss you and hopefully we will see you again sometimes. But if not, hopefully you will live with a seed that there is something, that there is these places that you can come and gather and create, and you don't have to buy coffee and you don't have to buy anything. You don't have to register to a service. And yes, it seems like incredible. Like, how is this possible? But it is possible, and we're just there to create and to share, because that's what we were doing many, many years ago, and maybe we have forgotten about it. And I was listening to Anna, what she was saying, when we create around Christmas, around the holidays, and it got me to remember how my grandma created, like Anna was saying, this city, and she created from the houses, and I remember she created a well with the stones, and she made the glue, and we were doing that in community. And even when we cooked in Latin America, in Mexico, soon it's gonna be tamales season, and the ladies and also men, they join together since 6 a.m. in the morning, and they start creating in community, and that's very important. I think we have forgotten, or we just think that of that creation as, oh, we're going to create food, but we can also create art. We can sew, we can mend, we can knit. And so I hope they live with that seed. And if they don't come back to visit us, I hope in the future they go back and visit another archive, or maybe they open their own archive. I don't know.
And that's it. Maybe we don't know. And I kind of like that. I like that there's a kind of quality of aliveness to it all. And it's not like homework. It's not this, it's something that people can join freely and take what they need. And
yeah,
I always feel that, like, if someone joins us once, or if maybe they listen but don't participate in the way that others might. Like that's okay. That's there
Yeah,
be there that like is a creative contribution all on its own. And
yeah, definitely.
and I think food is definitely a creative process.
Oh, food is art. Like I think I am my most creative in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'd like to talk about that a little bit too. You were just because you were mentioning that sense of being reminded of, you know, from your own life and your family and the culture of the kind of natural organic art and creative things that happen when people come together to celebrate or for various rituals in our lives or our cultures. What is it? But then there's some point in our life where we begin to separate from that, or at least some of us do. And it's interesting
Mhm.
you say that you didn't consider yourself an artist for a long time. What do you
Yeah.
like? Why do you think that happens? Why did it happen to you, do you think?
I think, well, it happened to me. I mean, as a child, as I think every child, I was drawing, I was painting, I was playing, I was doing Play-Doh, I was making amazing mud cakes that I was decorating with skeletons of things that I will find in the backyard and stones and then I guess, as I said, I guess we forget. We kind of grow out of it. Although I had like late. I grew up late. Uh, I was still playing when I was 15, and I was still, yeah, asking for toys, even when I was 15. Anyway,
No.
so I think we forget a little bit, and then and then there is the responsibilities and the job and university and if you're in a career where it's like engineering. I yes, I took one drawing class, and I think the first day the teacher made me cry, and I was like, I'll never come back to this class, and I switched my career because of that drawing class. I told my mom, that's it, I'm not going back. Instead of being a production, like industrial engineer, I don't want to know anything about drawing. I am not going back. And yeah, and my mom said, okay, well, you cannot stay home. You have to go to school. So I went and studied English in the meantime while I could apply for the other career, for software engineering. So I think you forget with all the stress and life and everything, and it's nice to be reminded. And I think that's why yes, cancer is a terrible thing, and I don't wish it upon anybody. Um, but when they told me I had cancer, I was like, uh, I was actually relieved because I was under so much stress at work. And my first thought was, okay, so I guess I don't have to worry about the next deadline. And then I guess it allowed me to take space for me and to take time for me. And then once I had that time, when what we say, like, oh, whenever I have time, and I'll read and I'll meditate and maybe I'll take up a drawing class.
Yeah.
And I did all that. I had time to read, I had time to meditate, I had time to take drawing. Like, it was not a drawing class, but I was going to the Art Hives, so we were in all these skill sharings. And then I realized it gave me back my agency. And Anna was saying something, and I really relate to that. And she said perfectly, like, we gain back control, even if it's a little bit. Even if it's the control, like I have control to fold this into a little curly thing. It's like, this is the control that I have today, and this is what I was able to do today, and I'm gonna celebrate that. I was able to do this. And if I did that, if it took me the whole day, which sometimes my art projects were taking me a whole day while I was during chemo. But then at the end of the day, when my husband was coming back from work, and he's like, how are you feeling? I'm like, look, I made this. I was like so excited, like a kid coming back from kindergarten, like, look, I made this. And so I think what was your question? So I think that's very important, and I think that's how we forget we're artists, and we forget that art is just an expression. So if we express ourselves, well, my grandma she never called herself an artist, but she was a great cook. She was writing poems. She loved rainy days, and today is raining. So for her, the rain was poetry. Um, she was doing a lot of fiber arts. Um, I think we forget that we're artists and that every expression of ourselves is art. And I forget. So I need to constantly remind myself, it's like, it's okay to call yourself an artist, not to dismiss, people that spend 10 years studying art. And, I all my respect, I bow to them. But I think we need to bring back to the community this notion that art is just an expression of yourself. Whatever, if you want to fold a paper or, you know, punch like little holes in paper and make something out of it. And I think we need to bring back to the community, and that's what Art Hives bring to the community, I think.
That's so beautifully said. I don't think I can follow up on that at all.
Oh, thank you.
And it is, we have, when Jess Goldie commented, turning such terrible news and such, like, bringing such a positive and beautiful outcome to that. That was something that you did with that agency that you reclaimed for yourself. And I do think there's opportunities for that in each of our lives. And that, that artist self, it's about expressing ourselves. It's about being ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And communicating, how we communicate that to other people, whether it's in a pipe clean or
a
poem, a song, a dance. There are so many different ways we can do this. Cooking, gardening.
Gardening. A lot. I'm sure there's a lot of garden artists now. Like after this pandemic, I think we all took up on gardening, myself included. So yeah.
It's such a beautiful thing. Now we have a short time left. So in that time, there might be folks out there who are listening who haven't, maybe Spanish speakers who are out there who are listening and loving what they're hearing. Can you tell us a little bit more about how people can participate in your Art Hive, how they would find you and join?
Yeah, for sure. So we love, an Art Hive is an open space and everybody from the community is welcome. We are in almost all social media. We're in Instagram at La Colmena de Arte. We have a Facebook page, La Colmena de Arte. We have a Facebook group, but our Facebook group, it's very easy to enter, but you just have to answer some like very easy questions, like, you're going to be respectful of the group and like standard group thing, Facebook group thing. We also created Spotify account, Radio Colmena.
What?
Yeah, because our participants always, not always, but sometimes they request songs.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like, oh, you want to hear a song? Yeah. So I play the DJ also sometimes. And they request a song. We play the song. And then we play only one song at a time because we want to allow for time for conversation and also to talk about because music is really important in our culture, in Latin. I think for everybody. I don't think it's just a Latin thing. So we play songs, and then we have the idea to create a Spotify account and then add there all the songs that our participants have requested. So if somebody wants to hear all the songs that have been requested, they're there. We have a Pinterest account. So yeah, there is like lots of ways to find us. Instagram, Facebook, Gmail. We have an email, lacolmenadearte@gmail.com. They can send us an email. Lots of, and I think the only thing is that they will have to speak Spanish. We do speak Spanish, and it's like Spanish, like I'm saying, they connect from Mexico, from Colombia. But we have had participants that don't speak the language, and they're very patient with us, and we're very patient with them. And, we ask them to participate in Spanish, but sometimes if they throw a word here in English or in French, that's okay too. But yeah, it's a Spanish community, and I think it's important. And the community have expressed the importance of the language for them, as Anna already explained. So, so we are very appreciative of that, and we are very respectful, because an archive is them, is not us. So, I mean, it's everybody. It's the whole community. So
That's one thing. Thank you for that. We'll share. I'll try. I had no idea you had a Pinterest account. So if you're
yes.
if you and Anna are right that, I see Anna sharing links in the comments here, but I will also take those links and share them on our Facebook page too in a little follow-up, so people can find you and connect and ask questions. And
thank you.
who knows what what else might grow out of this opportunity. It sounds like
there's
like very dynamic.
a lot of things. Yeah, a lot of things have grown up, from the first virtual archives, and that's what colmenas are. They're like, they just flower and sprout, and it's what we want. We want this to expand, not to keep it for ourselves, because I think the more there are, like, that's what we need in the world, I think.
I agree. I think there's many things we need, but this is definitely one of them. And Colmena is that translated directly into Art Hive?
Direct translation, yes.
Just for other folks like me, if you're interested, click into, as I learned.
Yeah.
And I do love, I'm so appreciative that you and Anna have joined me today, and to learn more about your virtual Art Hive, because I think one of the things that I've learned during these past 6 months is that an Art Hive isn't necessarily a place. I think it is, as you just said, it's the people. It's the people that create that environment and contribute to it and help it grow and like nourish it with all of their wonderful.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe wonderfulness and maybe edges as well. I think, what is different, and, but that again, every little bit creates a beautiful experience, an interesting experience for everyone.
Yeah, and I think it's awesome to go visit different archives and see and appreciate the difference, and how communities are different and facilitators are different, and how they solve challenges and their creativity. And then, we go from archive to, like bees, we go from flower to flower, bringing the pollen and cross-pollinating. And I think that's what's wonderful. It's not a competitive model. It's just a big community. So if you do something on your archive and I love it, Mary, be sure that I'm going to share it in mine, and I'm going to share it in all of the other archives that I visit. And of course, I will give you credit, but it's just, it's all about sharing. So I think visit as many archives as you possibly can. And right now is the time to do it, because they're all online. So you just have to connect. You don't have to travel to Europe or, or South America or Canada or East Canada or West Canada. So
yeah, I love it. And well, maybe we can plan. We'll connect with Rachel and see if we can maybe plan some drop-in Art Hive days. So
yeah, I think that will be amazing. Yes.
All right, we'll figure something out. Anyways, we've got time. We've got time. Oh, well, thank you so much, Momo, for joining us. Thank you. It's been talking with you and Anna today, and having a little window opened into the community of your Art Hive, and just such a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was such an honor for us, and such a surprise when you asked us. But thank you so much.
The honor is all mine. It's just so exciting.
Mil gracias.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, I'll say goodbye now, so I have time to wrap up before we get cut off. Mwah. Thank you. And
bye.
Both you and Anna.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Wow. Okay. Oh, my little wheel is spinning there. So let's see. Can you still hear me, folks? If you can, I'm so thankful. Huge, huge thanks to both Anna and Momo for joining us today. And I just can't thank Anna and Momo enough for joining us and sharing about their Art Hive, and to all the community members from their Art Hive who joined us. Thank you for contributing and tuning in as well. I can't wait to connect with you all again sometime soon. And I am looking forward to featuring more Art Hives, more online Art Hives in the weeks ahead through these artist chats. So if you are out there and you're running a virtual or online Art Hive right now and you'd like to chat with me, connect, and let's figure out a way to do that. This is, more now than ever, it's so important that we find those moments to connect with one another in ways that are meaningful and manageable, so we can share what we love and learn about one another, so that, well, just so we can enjoy life more, so that we can support others in their processes of enjoying life, and ourselves too. Anyways, just such a lovely chat. Thank you so much. And for those who are interested, of course, I'll share all the links over on our Facebook page about their Art Hive. And a reminder to folks who are out there now, if you'd like to join, we have a live stream pop-up art studio that happens every Wednesday on the Living Room Community Art Studios Facebook page. Everyone's welcome to join in the chat, and as I create and putter away. And I'm definitely getting inspired from all the other Art Hives out there who are doing live Zoom art meetings, and look for some of that, or some Facebook room meetings coming up in the living room in the months ahead too. We're going to do whatever we can to keep connected. And on that note, I guess it's time to say goodbye. Thanks for joining me, and until we can connect and create with one another again in person, I look forward to creating and connecting with all of you online. So keep on being awesome, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you all again soon. Mwah, mwah. Bye.